Hi, I'm April Kieburtz. I started Windermere Mount Baker in 1979, and I was the first woman owner of Windermere and the third owner overall.
And I'm Steve Kieburtz, husband of April Kieburtz.
And so together, how many offices did you open?
Together?
Or separately, individually?
I had two, Mount Baker and Madison Park, and Stephen originally had three, and we operated those separate corporations for several years.
And finally came up with a great idea of putting them together. I mean,
because we have very different skills, but they're very complementary to each other. I came from Michigan. I met Stephen on a ski vacation, and I was a primary school teacher. And when I came to Seattle, I didn't want to be a teacher anymore in the school system, so I was wondering what I might do. And I had a very good friend who had just gone into real estate, and she told me about an organization that was looking for someone to teach the real estate licensing exam and to call on real estate offices. So I took that job and I called on over 300 offices throughout all of the greater Seattle area, walking in cold, meeting the broker. And I did that job for about 3 months, and I started wondering if perhaps I should be selling real estate instead of being a teacher. And Windermere was quite new at that point and had just opened their third office. And one of the agents there really encouraged me to interview with them. So I interviewed with the top 3 companies, Windermere being one of them. And Windermere was so light years ahead and progressive and in line with my thinking that it was a very easy decision. And so I started at the Capitol Hill office of Windermere. John Jacoby was looking to expand, and they gave me an opportunity to open the Mount Baker office. The word Windermere meant nothing other than a neighborhood in the North End, recruiting agents and so forth. It was really a very challenging job, and then shortly after we opened is when the real estate interest rates went to like 18%. So it was very challenging opportunity to struggle and to make it work. But the market was so tough. I remember trying to keep the morale up with my agents and celebrating the month we had one sale.
Well, wouldn't you say that that's part of the genius of Windermere, in that so many other companies were structured in more or less of a corporate fashion with the designated broker owner someplace, and then satellite offices that were had hired brokers there. And since the brokers, the manager at Windermere tended to be an owner or have ownership in the company, it was that age-old principle of having skin in the game. I mean, really, literally, you couldn't walk away from it. You simply had to make it work no matter how difficult it was, and that's what April did.
The concept of failure was just not in my lexicon. Well, what I knew about Seattle at that time was so little, because I'd only lived in Seattle for 2 years. So it was a charming neighborhood. It had a lot of beautiful older homes. Well, I think Mount Baker has always had an amazingly strong community. And I don't see that as changing. And I don't think I have a good story, but I'll tell you a story of first opening and trying to rah-rah my agents and build the team, and everybody was so down because the market was so challenging. And I bought a $50 bottle of wine and put it up in the office and said, this is going to be for the top salesman this month because we all need a little boost. And somebody stole it. And I thought, that's pretty desperate. Maybe they really needed it. It's just really caring, really being there for them, helping them if they are having problems with their transactions, being a real supporter. I just always felt that I'm an equal member of the team, and I felt like they treated me like that. And in spite of the fact that looking back now, it was unusual, it wasn't to me. That's what I had an opportunity to do, and I wanted to do it, and I did it.
I love that.
And I got lots of support from the other owners, all three of us, four of us. And
Perfect. Stephen, how did you get involved? Where do you insert yourself in this story?
How did I get involved? That's an excellent question. I really got involved, as I said, by being the spouse of the business owner and seeing myself in a supportive role. And socially, I would go to Windermere functions, whatnot, and got to meet other Windermere people and the small number of brokers and owners, and met John Jacoby, who was really the founder and started the whole thing. And we got to kind of be friends. And out of the blue, John asked me if I would like to join the company and help expand it and open some offices. It showed you how desperate John was back in those days to make the company grow. But at that time, I had a business where I was traveling a lot, wanted to be home with my family, wanted a business where I was not traveling. And real estate sounded like a good opportunity. And right from the get-go, there was something very different to my way of thinking about Windermere, the way they approach it, the relationship Windermere had and sought to have with the agents and the communities it served. So it was very appealing.
happy 40th anniversary to Windermere Mount Baker.
Happy anniversary to Windermere Mount Baker. 40 great years. We are so proud of you. You guys are the best.